Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, recently I have been coming across an error, whatever they want to call it, on my PlayStation 3. And I know people are going to be all like, bro, you realize two other PlayStations came out afterwards. Yes, but there are games that are only available or like playable on my PlayStation 3. And, luckily for me, I had the PlayStation 3 that plays all the PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, and then, of course, the PlayStation 3 games. But my issue that I've been coming across recently is that I can't play games anymore because I don't have enough memory. But then when you look at how much memory I have left, I have enough memory to download, 10, 12 megabytes for a video game. And I think I have 4,000, pretty much 4 gigabytes left. So overall, my thing is this, right? When you sit down and you put that in perspective, when you look at the situation, that's like telling me I can't fit inside of a mansion. I'm like, fam, I don't know how that is a problem when I know for a fact that, it's not required. Not like how it is today where you have to download games, you have to download updates and all these other different things. Fam, this is the PlayStation 3. Downloading updates and games was even a thing back then when that console had came out. That console came out back in 2007. And you mean to tell me for some odd reason, I can't play games no more? And I never had this issue before. And I feel like back then, I had way more games compared to how many I have now. And I was playing games left and right on this console. So it really trips me out where I'm like, I don't get how that should be a problem, but that just overall that eliminates that whole debate on which consoles are better, the Xbox or the PlayStation. At least with Xbox, they don't have it where the thing is this, right? So let's say you have a terabyte of memory, but you download like a bunch of different 100 gigabyte games, and then there's like that one last game you want to download, but you don't have enough memory for it. Yeah, let's say, you used up all your memory, so you only have 86 gigabytes left. But the game that you're wanting to download is 90 gigabytes. Xbox will let you know you don't have enough memory. You have to go out and buy some memory. So that's what I decided to do, right? I went ahead, plugged up this hard drive that I'm not even using for nothing. It was originally used for my older computer. But I was like, okay, I figure I'm not going to be using that computer, I guess, up until I decide to do some upgrades to it. But other than that, I'm like, I could just use that. It's a hard drive. It ain't no different than any other memory card, stick, whatever you want to call it. I plug that up. It doesn't even get recognized. And I'm thinking to myself, like, Xbox, I don't know what issues you have going on, but that right there is not normal. No, did I say Xbox or did I say PlayStation? I think I meant to say PlayStation. Xbox, you cool. I ain't got no beef with Xbox. Not yet, but I have like separate issues with Xbox, but with PlayStation and Sony on the other hand, I'm like, no, you guys definitely got some issues going on with your consoles. I'm saying like that's something where it shouldn't take you guys like when I look at when Xbox when they release a new console versus when PlayStation releases a new console, but it'll be of the like same generation and stuff. So like for an example, Xbox got their latest new Xbox series where it's the Xbox Series S, but it looks just like the Xbox Series X. It's just white and it has more memory. But that's all that they did. I think they made it to where it can run at 4K quality and 60 frames per second, however, whatever. It's pretty much plays just like the Xbox Series X, but it's just the digital version. That's it. That's all that they did to that. If anything, I feel like that they gave more to the fans because, yeah, I think that with the original Xbox Series S, they had it where it wasn't enough memory on it and stuff. So I would have to say that was probably the only thing that PlayStation did do right when they released the PlayStation 5s and the digital PlayStation 5 is that they had it where it ran just like the disc PlayStation, the disc version of the PlayStation 5. So anyways, but that's what Xbox came out with. They just came out with a new improved digital console. PlayStation comes out with a digital console and they're like, oh, well, if you want to play disc games, that's an additional $100 on top of the 500 and something. Because how much, hold on for a second. Let me see how much the new PlayStation 5s are. Let me go on Best Buy real quick. And I think it's like $549 or something like that. Hold on for a second. PlayStation 5 Pro. I think it's $549. No, actually, it's way more than that. It's $699, and it ain't even the disc. So you mean to tell me, the thing is this. You mean to tell me that with the PlayStation 5 that I got right now, it came with an additional feature that you guys, for some odd reason, decided to take away. Why, I don't know. That's what I'm saying, man. I honestly feel like that there are people in the gaming universe, more so like these higher ups, you know, when it comes down to developers or even the people that are creating these consoles. I'm saying I don't get why that would have been an option, or that was an idea. Like, oh, let's take away something, charge more. My thing is this, right? And then to me, it just seemed like it would make more sense to go out and just get a gaming PC at that point. I mean, yeah, they might not have all the PlayStation games, but I'm like, PlayStation, to me, it's like you guys don't have a proper refund policy. Then my issue is that I can't even, there's like all these different PlayStation 2 and 3, PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games that I done bought, where I can't even properly, well, I don't know about the PlayStation 2 games, but eventually it is going to get to a point in time where they're going to be like, oh, you don't have enough memory to play these PlayStation 2 games. Games where it didn't even require you to install any things. I'm like, I don't know what update you guys done recently came out with to where that needed to be a thing, but I'm like, fam, this is a console where you just put in the game and you start playing it. Why is there all of a sudden a problem? You know, like that's just the type of stuff that I'm like, man, you know, it really puts me in a situation where I'm like, I don't even want to play games no more. Like, I really don't, because it just seems like video games is going in a direction where it's like, you're not wanting people to play video games. I mean, they're talking about Grand Theft Auto 6 might be $100. You're having it where developers want to put out half of a video game but charge you full price. You have it where people are taking advantage of early access. You're having it where people are like, oh, let's only release a digital version of our game. So if people, you know, if they don't like it, well, you got to play a certain amount of hours to see whether or not you're going to like it. Then after them hours, you don't end up liking it. I just feel like gaming right now, it's just, it's not good. It's not good at all. I'm like, and it's been like that for years. You know, it really trips me out where it's like gaming used to be so good at one point in time. And I feel like, yeah, it was definitely during that PlayStation 2 era, you know, where it's like gaming was simple. Gaming wasn't, no, oh, let's make the game overly challenging or let's do, like, no, the thing is this. It's like if a game back then, I feel like if it was challenging, it's because they have it set up in a way where it's like, you know, you gotta like, you're playing this game for the first time. But here it is where it's like, they have it where it's like, okay, you, like, so let's say for an example, somebody wants to do that same exact thing. They have it where, yeah, that first mission is okay. Second mission might be slightly difficult, but then after that, they just want to make every aspect of the game difficult. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't know how, and it's been from racing games, it's been from fighting games, it's been from shooter games, from so many different games. And I'm like, I don't know why you guys can't just have a proper difficulty settings. But I'm like, that's something that you've seen a lot with gaming back then. You seen where a game had a difficulty setting. You seen where games then, it wasn't no, oh, you had to be online 24/7 just to play the game. No, you could just put the game in the console and start playing it. So like, when my thing is this, when they be talking about, oh, my internet just went out, and me back then playing on the PlayStation 3 where it didn't require no internet to play the game unless I was playing online or whatever. But I was like, I didn't start playing online games until like 2010, 2011. So like, for the most part, I was playing a lot of different single player games, but you have it in now where it's like even a single player games requires an online access. Like, I'm playing Monster Hunter Wilds and they're having it set up where you have to play this game where you have to be in an online single player mode. Please, somebody explain that to me. Why is there a such thing as an online single player mode? Single player means that you are playing the game by yourself. That's why they call it single player. Yeah, it's something where I'm like that, you know, there's a lot of different developers nowadays where I'm like, I question your guys' developing skills when it comes down to gaming. But then you having it where the like gaming providers like Sony, Microsoft, like they got their own separate issues, but I'm like Sony on the other hand, I don't get that. You guys come out with this $500 console and it only can play the games that's meant for that console. Eventually it's gonna get to a point in time where they're all like, oh, PlayStation 4 games ain't gonna be supported no more on the PlayStation 5. They're gonna have it set up where, no, actually they kind of are doing that. They're like, no, they're pretty much telling people if you want to play any of the newer games, you have to go out and buy a PlayStation 5. So, I mean, it is pretty much reaching that point where you have to have a PlayStation 5 nowadays. And because I don't think Monster Hunter Wild came out for the PlayStation 4. Hold on for a second. Let me check real quick. Monster Hunter Wilds. Not that I know of. I didn't see anything with no PlayStation 4. Yeah, they have it. Oh, they just only have the. Well, no, yeah, they only have it where you can play it on PlayStation 5. Yeah, they even have the options over here on the side. They on Windows, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5. Oh, they have it where you can play it on Xbox One. No, that's the other two. Or just that's the other two Monster Hunter games, but. Yeah, it's something where I'm like, man, that's kind of unfortunate. But I mean, it's kind of like, it's something that you kind of knew. Like, I just remember when they came out with that one Hogwarts Legacy game, they had it set up where the last gen consoles got the game like months after it had came out. So yeah, it's something where I'm like, I kind of knew that was going to happen. But I'm like, you got to remember that there are games that people do own where I'm like, the console is going to get old, but if you were somebody like me where it's like you took good care of your games and the games ain't scratched up and it's like, okay, what am I supposed to do with all these different games? Just keep going around to like every single store that's selling a PlayStation 1, 2, or 3, or selling the PlayStation 3 that can play all the games, but have it where I'm paying the same price for the new PlayStation 5s for a PlayStation 3. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I think that there's just people within the industry, the gaming industry, they're so out of tune with what's going on outside of, their circle and stuff. And I'm like, fam, there are people, let's just see how much a base PlayStation or the original PlayStation 3 is. Because I'm pretty sure they're selling it on Amazon and stuff. PlayStation 3 first. It was first generation. I was like, I don't know if it'd be first model, first generation. Somebody is selling it, but it has like bad ratings and stuff. But yeah, it's somebody selling it for $138. I'm like, yeah, that PlayStation 3 might be it might be broken, but I don't even think, they have like, so no, there's the one that I just seen, there's 40 gigabytes, and it's 2.5 stars. Then they got the other one that's 3.5 stars, that's 160 gigabytes, that's 155. All right, so I guess they're at a cheaper price and things, but my thing is this, how many of those PlayStations am I gonna have to buy? Because I'm saying like they're all the same age. They all came off of the same assembly line. So like eventually it is gonna get to a point, and I'm not trying to have it where my room is just filled up with a bunch of different PlayStation 3s. Because I'm pretty sure there ain't a whole lot of, you think a GameStop's is taking a used, not even slightly used, an overly used PlayStation 3 that's like, it's seen its days, and it ain't even gonna work no more. No, and I'm supposed to just keep every year, just keep throwing away a PlayStation 3? That's a waste of money. That's honestly a waste of money, versus where it's like, you guys got the technology. Even I said that there could be something that you guys can come out with a device, plug it out, and have it where it ain't costing if we gonna come out with this device that can play all the old PlayStation games, we gonna slap on a $200. No, it don't need to be over $100. That thing needs to be less than $100, because if it's just a small little device that I'm plugging in, it don't need to be over 100, over 200, over. No, it just needs to be like $90 tops. If not that, less than that. But it needs to be a thing where I can play my PlayStation 1 games, my PlayStation 2 games, and my PlayStation 3 games. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, there are some PlayStation 4 games that's playable, but I think there's even been times where I look and they said like, this PlayStation 4 game is locked. So it's getting to that point. It is getting to that point where they're all like, oh, well, we done came out with so many updates. The PlayStation 5's, like software, hardware, or whatever, it can't, gather up that much memory. So yeah, we have to take away the PlayStation 4 support, or we're gonna have it where it's a part of our PlayStation Plus membership, and that's the only way that you can play a PlayStation 3 game. I hate that so much, because it's games that I didn't even really play that much. versus like there's the one game that I've been trying to play, and I'm like, I might have to end up getting that game on Steam, and I don't want to like go out and buy it on Steam. But anyways, the game that I was been trying to play is this Tom Clancy game called End War. And I remember playing it a while back, and I didn't really get too much into it. But now playing a lot of different RTS style games, I'm like, oh, well, let me see. Well, I seen it in the retro game store that I've been going to, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll go ahead and play the. Should have went ahead and bought it on my Xbox. I think from this point forward, I'm not gonna buy any more games on my PlayStation because it's like I can't even play them. What's the point of buying a game if I can't even play it? So, anyways, yeah, I guess just play the games that are installed. But yeah, my thing is like, and I find that so weird. Like I said, I'm like, I had way more games. I think honestly, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna separate all my PlayStation games from the Xbox games, and I know for a fact that I had way more games than I did back then. Because I'm like, a lot of these games are like, yeah, there's like, I'm seeing some like PlayStation 4 games and stuff, PlayStation 5. Like, there's some games where I'm like, yeah, I know for a fact that I was like, I played a lot of these games. I have no issues before. But at least with the Tom Clancy End War game, I was like, I played that on my Xbox, so I can't really say. But I'm like, I've never had that issue. And I had a gang of games back then. So that's why I'm like, man, it just seemed like it would be a lot easier if they came out with an update for the PlayStation 5s where they're like, oh, now you can play PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4 games, and it don't matter what game it was, like, they're all compatible. What would be wrong with that? Like, honestly, though, what would be wrong with having a console? Like, obviously, yeah, the consoles are going to get old, because I wonder how long does a video game, I feel like I looked this question up, how long does a video game disc last? With proper storage and handling, video game discs like DVDs and Blu-rays can potentially last for decades, but it's best to avoid prolonged exposure to heat and humidity and keep them in cases to maximize their lifespan. Here's a detailed explanation. Potential lifespan with no definitive lifespan exists. Many sources suggest that commercially created discs, including those used in video games, can last for 20 to 50 years. And how 50 years is insane. I'm like, fam, like how long have discs been coming out? Hold on for a second. How long does the original PS3 last? Let's see what they say for that. The lifespan of an original PlayStation 3 can vary, but with proper care and maintenance, many users reported their consoles lasting for 10 to 15 years or even longer. So, like, no, I will say that, the PlayStation 3, it still turns on. I might have some screen issues here and there when I nudge the HDMI cord, but other than that, it still turns on. I just can't play games because for some odd reason, 12 megabytes is more than 4,000 megabytes. And I'm supposed to process that. That's like saying 1 + 1 = -100. There's just at times when there's like certain things that happen in gaming and just, with consoles. And I'm like, I know you guys aren't sitting down I wonder how much Sony is worth. Like, let's say if I was like a trillionaire or something, I wanted to buy Sony. How much is Sony worth? $136.79 billion. And you mean to tell me you guys can't come out with a $500 console that can play all the PlayStation games? And that's supposed to make sense to me. Like, I honestly, that's something where I feel like, I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a day where I'm going to become like mad rich. I'm going to be, I'm going to buy a studio. I'm going to just kind of like test it out on people and things. Like, I'm going to have it where it's like, like a commercial is happening at this studio, like put it like flyers out or something, have it where everybody comes through as soon as they walk in. I'm like, there's not enough space and it's an empty studio and they're going to be looking like there's nobody else in here. I'm like, well, yeah, it's not enough space. I'm like, well, why is there not enough space? I can't give you that answer. It's just not enough space. That's how I feel when I'm trying to play a game where I'm like, I know that I checked how much space that I have on the PlayStation 3 and the game ain't playing. So yeah, that's what I'm like, and it's things like that where I'm like, if you guys hear that and you still trying to find a solution or an answer or an argument to, I'm like, fam, eliminate all of that. Eliminate the arguments, the solutions. The only solution that needs to be is having it where the PlayStation 5 is compatible with all PlayStation games. I'm saying you guys did it before with the PlayStation 3. You had it where you can play every PlayStation 1 game. Let's just see what the backwards compatible thing. How many old games could be played, or how many PS1 and PS2 games could be played on the PS3. All PS3 models can play PlayStation 1 games, but only the original fat PS3 models, 20, 60, and 80 gigabyte models can play PlayStation 2 games natively, while other can play PlayStation 2 games via emulation through PlayStation 2 Classics on the PlayStation Store. So yeah, the one that I have, that's the one that I have, the fat model. I feel like that's, kind of body shaming the PlayStation 3, but I'm just saying, like, that was the one that can play all of it. You did it before, why not do it again? I'm saying, like, that, I don't get it. Like, it seemed like that you guys did that by accident. Like, that wasn't supposed to be the case. Like, you did that by accident, and you're like, oh, well, let's not do that no more. Yeah, let's have it where, the gamers, they can't have fun no more. Like, they have no choice but to go out and buy. Because I'm telling you right now, if the PlayStation 5 could play a lot of different old games, a lot of the new games today wouldn't be getting played. And that's why you see where a lot of the times they're all like, oh, we're going to shut down the online access. We're going to shut down this. We're going to shut down that. And then just have it where you ain't going to have no choice but to play one of our newer games. I hate that so much. And I'm like, yeah, it eventually is going to get to a point in time where maybe this episode, maybe another episode, maybe a video, maybe a TikTok, maybe an Instagram reel, something. I'm really hoping that it's me, where somebody is gonna see it, and then it's just the word is gonna get the spreading around, and yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people out there asking Sony. And not so much Microsoft. I mean, yeah, they have it where there's some games that's not compatible. And that's one thing that I don't understand about them, where it's like you guys had a program where it was a good program, but then it's like it's the same with PlayStation. And I feel like, yeah, I need to talk on Microsoft for a little bit too. You had a backwards compatible program where you were adding a lot of different games, but you have it set up where you can't play those games. And I guarantee and I promise you this is what's going to happen. They're going to come out with a $1,000 Xbox and a $1,000 PlayStation. And they're going to be like, hey, remember them old dusty games you guys had in your closet that you don't play no more? Well, guess what? We're having it where all those games are compatible now. When you guys could have very well did that with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And, I guess like if the game was bought digitally, regardless of the fact, I'm like, fam, it shouldn't be a hassle. It really shouldn't be a hassle. So that's why I'm like, man, you guys, y'all got to really work on that stuff, because that just don't even make no sense. And it's like, what are you guys doing then? Rather than coming out with that's the one thing that annoyed me so much with PlayStation. They come out with an update having it where, oh yeah, you can have like the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 startup thing, but you just can't play their the games. It's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, one day, Sony and Microsoft, they're gonna get called out for this stuff. But anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and peace.